Welcome to everybody. We're going live again. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong. I'm here with my brother Damon and Jaquari Armstrong. We have a
What's
special
up, people?
guest tonight, David Davis of Day One's Only clothing
That
line.
one's on.
Yes, sir. Welcome, David. Welcome to you. Uh,
Welcome, family.
guys, you guys, excuse me. I got a little lag in my situation, but you can hear me clearly, right, guys?
I can.
Because,
Yeah.
because what it is I know I look cute, but as long as you hear my words, then everything is everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, um, Jaquari, we're gonna do the
Yep.
traditional thing before we get into everything. Jaquari, how was your day today?
My day was it was appropriate, man. I'm teleworking. I work Thursday through Monday through Thursday, man, and I telework on Fridays or whatever. And I was thinking throughout the course of the day, man, I might as well go into work because I'm still working hard as hell at home. But you got to eat. So what are you gonna do? But it's been a good day. Been a good day. I can't complain about nothing else besides that.
Damon, what about yourself, brother?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Glad to be above ground. You know what I'm saying? And just chilling, man. Doing house cleaning. That's about it.
Okay. Cool. For the man of the hour, David Davis, how are you, brother? How's your day?
Man, it's good, man. It's always good getting off work, getting out here. I still see some daylight. So,
Okay.
it was a good day. Good day.
Cool.
It's Friday. Everything cool.
I see that you and Damon, y'all kind of y'all matching today. You got a Day One's Only T-shirt on,
Oh,
representing
yeah.
for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very
You
well.
know.
Yeah.
You know. You know.
Look,
Yeah.
just to let y'all,
Appreciate that. Appreciate
just to
that.
let the audience know, David is he's our cousin, and
Yep.
he's our blood. And then one thing about it, what we try to do is we showcase, everyday people, and every day doesn't mean average people. There's every day the people you see that they strive to be great in what they do. You know what I mean? And so far, every guest that we had is doing great in their own areas. You know what I'm saying? David is,
Yep.
I've always admired him from afar. I'm down in North Carolina. I see him in Michigan. I've seen him, because we're Facebook friends and all of that. I've seen him go into many ventures and be successful at it. I love the young man's drive. You know what I mean? And before I even get any further into it, let me just do this. Make sure that you guys go to our YouTube channel, Strong Perspective Podcast. Subscribe to us. You know what I mean? Because our content is for everyday people. You know, See, this is the thing about it. I am a fan of podcasts, so I watch them. I watch them all the time. But the one thing about it, I've never heard my own voice. And what I mean by that is this. Yes, I may agree with whatever celebrities on there. I might agree with what they're talking about. But I've always thought in my mind, hey, how about this, like my brothers, David. Let's hear from those people that's working hard every day, that's doing their thing, trying to make things happen in their lifetime. You know, this podcast provides that for you. And also, I'm bringing back the art of communication. The three of us, the Armstrong brothers, bringing back the art of communication. You know, I think we're strong men. I think David is a strong man. You know what I'm saying? I don't use those words lightly. So come and take this ride with us because we enjoy ourselves, we enjoy each other, we enjoy just giving you what we can give you. All right? Like I said, go in and subscribe to the channel, and we're going to go from there. Now, let's get into the business of the day. Mr. Davis, because I'm going to call you that because you deserve that. Mr. Davis, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. I'm actually on my way to drop off a T-shirt and a hat.
Okay.
Somebody, who wanted one. So that's what I'm en route doing right now. Killing two birds with one stone.
No doubt.
Go ahead and take care of that business, man.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Give us a little bit of your vision, man, because I think the three of us want to know, what inspired you to do what you're doing. Talk about it to us and talk about it to our listeners.
Well, I mean, growing up, I always wanted to go into entrepreneurship, but I didn't really understand exactly what business was. I understood working for yourself, and I knew I had the drive to get things done, but it's a lot of things that tie into it that you have to learn over time. And as you all remember, my first venture ever was Lounge Junkies. Like, I had that with my cousin Ron, and
Yeah, I remember.
he really introduced me to like the clothing every, what I'm saying, just about how to, not how to print, but just where I could go, just the idea of, like, I always was into like clothes and shoes. I sold shoes in high school, it's like, that's a way to make money. So I kind of already had like the reputation of like a stylist to a certain degree. I had all the latest stuff, new Jordans, like anything you can name, like I probably had it and wore it to school. So I kind of already had this reputation, and he introduced me to the idea of having a clothing line. So as time went on, I had other ventures. I was actually the manager at Nara Detroit. That was a shoe cleaning store. That's when I worked with the shoe cleaner, and just kind of like redesigning shoes, learning how to take them apart, learning different fabrics to use, and that's where I actually learned how to print.
Okay.
Because the guy that I was working with, he understood the information on it, so it was something I kind of just jumped into, and I really just wanted. I never wanted to like put myself in a box, So I was always open to learning different things and just learning how to do this, where to take it, where I could go, who I could work with. So I kind of look at as Day One's Only as a brand, because I have many different hobbies. Clothing is just one of the hobbies, but I have many different things that I want to do with it, and I kind of use T-shirts, hoodies, and hats right now as my canvas. It's kind of an introduction to my brand.
Okay.
Like the things I'm doing right now is kind of like an introduction to what I want to, eventually get into. So, it's pretty much, like I said, it's pretty much like a brand. I look at it as like a lifestyle brand. I want to be able to change perspective through design. Because I mean, we all shop, you go to the mall, like you going out or whatever. You see what's on the shelves, and it all look nice. But what I noticed that was missing was it wasn't really messages on the clothing that I was looking into that really made me feel a certain type of way. It looked nice,
Okay.
but it never made me feel anything. So I never really held it near and dear to my heart. And so when I made the decision to kind of get into this world of business, I always wanted to add that educational part to my brand.
Gotcha.
Because I feel like in order to change perspective and get people to understand things a certain way, you have to educate.
Right.
Like you can't just go and tell somebody to do something without showing them how to do it. And even education requires a lot of patience. And the last time I seen you, Fluke, we had to talk about just how sometimes it's not your job to grab everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not making it my mission to change everybody. Like I want to change the people that want to be changed. Like I want people to be a part of this that want to feel emotionally attached to it.
Right.
Right. So and I think that's the toughest part in business is you find people who will look into your brand or ask questions about it, and sometimes they won't buy anything, and to some people it can be discouraging. Like I look at that as like, okay, that's Day One's Only is the start of a conversation.
Yeah.
Sometimes certain conversations aren't meant for your room.
Okay.
Like certain people don't grasp onto the idea that you're trying to get off or whatever you're presenting. So it was always my thing to focus on like the love and the people that want to get it. You know, like I'm not trying to discredit anybody that don't want to support or don't want to understand where I want to take it, but you know, I'm just more so saying for my sake and for my brand's sake, you know, I want to focus on the people that do, because once you bump into people that do get it, they know people who probably think likewise. Like they have friends who probably share the same values and morals, you know, like, and to me, that's how you build cultures.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
that's how you build cultures. That's how you build a camaraderie. And all of us play sports, so you know, like in sports, in order to build a culture, you have to bring people together, and we all have to be on the same accord to accomplish this one goal. You know, like you can't have somebody over here, you know, thinking for self, and then everybody else thinking for the team. Person thinking for self, 9 times out of 10 gonna have to go in order for us to reach this goal. So that's really my vision with it, is to change perspective through design and to create that culture for people that want to be a part of something special.
Okay.
I definitely respect the grassroots aspect, man. You know, when you look at, you know, fashion over the last 10 years, man, it's always seemed like it's been, you know, some sort of uniform, man. You know,
Right.
and our community is always adhered to uniforms. You know, the way we look and the way we dress, representing who we believe we do. You know, we are. You know, that's why
Right.
that's why Crips and Bloods wear red and blue. You know, so
Yep.
I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, that's definitely a big part. You know, I'm looking for more so that emotional. Recently had somebody tell me, you know, like they bought a hoodie from me, and I bumped into him. He was like, "Man, I had your hoodie on the other day, man. I was downtown, you know." He's telling me, you know, I'm like, "I'm gonna send you a picture," and I said, "Man, you know, this is typical. Like, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for supporting me, you know." And he told me, he was like, "Man, like I really feel some type of way when I wear it though. Like I really feel
That's
the
deep.
energy of it when I put it on." You know what I'm saying? And I said,
Yeah.
I never had to beg for that. Like that's what I'm looking for. That's how I know it's something that could be special, because I don't have to tell someone that it's special for them to feel it. You know, like
It's,
they put it
it's
on
in
and
the name.
they get that feeling. You know,
It's in
exactly.
the
It's in the
name.
name. You know, so
Yeah.
it kind of all ties in together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely,
Like,
definitely.
like, Damon.
Well, I'm gonna say, man, straight up, man, that's very insightful, man. Very insightful. I mean, when you laid it out, you know what I'm saying, in the beginning, you talked about where you was humble at,
Yep.
learning from your cousin. You know what I'm saying? And you took up that mantle and made it into your own. And it's a space where it matters and it means something to you. You know what I'm saying? And you were able to grasp that from the very beginning, and also be open up to other different things too to learn from. You know what I'm saying? You mature beyond your years, man.
Definitely.
You know, I really think that
Thank you.
I'm,
Appreciate that.
I'm curious when it comes to, you said you want to expand it beyond the clothing. Is it, are you thinking more of a nonprofit or along those lines, or you know, restaurant? You know what I mean? Have you gotten that far yet, or is it just something that you want to put on the back burner?
I know I want to use it, you know, for like collaborations and
Okay.
I want to add media, and you know, just as of right now, just kind of keeping it like that. But
Yeah.
you know, as time goes on, and you stay in the game, you find different inspiration in different places. So I'm always looking for the next way that I can add on to what I'm doing. But for right now, I know the three things that I'm definitely going to do is clothing, media, and collaborations.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Okay. What we try to do is, because we wanted to get out what you're doing, you know, the great thing that you're doing with your brand and everything. We wanted to make sure the people out there understood what you're doing, and it's recorded on our, you know, on our platform. that you know you fully explain to us where you're going with it. But also, what we do on this podcast is we try to get to know everything about you. You know what I'm saying? So why don't you do because we know, but let our audience know, you know, if you have any siblings, your mom, your dad, give us a little background on that as far as you're concerned.
Well, I do have siblings. I have 4 sisters. You know, I was blessed enough to have, you know, 2 father figures growing up that still, you know what I'm saying, still play a role in my life today. So, you know, I have 4 siblings. Of course, my mom is Neff, Sharonda. Everybody know Neff. And
Love you, Neff.
I'm from, you know, I'm a real product from where I came from and the people that I was surrounded around. You know, I'm sure you done had many conversations with my granddad Ronald Johnson. So those were kind of the people who I really had, like, you know, as far as like the teaching part. You know, I had men available for me to show me how to be a man, show me how to take care of myself. You know, how to have that drive, how to finish what you start. So I really just break it down and just having just a great village in general. You know, it's too many people to name, but I just appreciate everybody that I ran across the years that has helped me become who I am today.
That's real.
You know, so that's why I say I kind of dedicate everything I do to my entire village. You know, they know who they are. It's a lot of people to name, but I'm just real appreciative of that because as you go on in life, you meet a lot of people who don't really have that support and don't really understand what it's like to love in terms of like being a loving person.
Yeah.
You know, like we all think we understand love, you know what I'm saying? It's different aspects of it though, but I had good examples showing me how to not only love myself, but love the people that I grew up with and cherish and respect those people. So I'm able to sustain these relationships throughout my life.
Okay. Hey, look,
so that's why I say
you know, it's not to me. It's not really such a big surprise, man, that you do have you know, a love for fashion and you are trying to do something in that world, man. Because you know your mom, you know your auntie, your dad, you know, I mean your granddad. They always had a certain style to them for as long, you know, as far back as I can remember. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Your granddad gave me my first Kango. He gave me my second Kango. And I kept those hats for years. And they stayed in pristine condition.
Right.
Because you know, when he see me, he'll ask me about them, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I got that. I got that right here."
Oh yeah. Hey, look. What we also do, David, is we give our parents love. So what I want you to do, if you can, and if you like, you know, give us, you know, talk about your relationship with your mom. You know what I mean? And anyone else, you know, your father, if you like, and just go in because we love to give parents love, especially when it's brothers who actually on that page, whether single or both.
You know, my mom had me when she was 19. You know, so we practically grew up together. You know, in terms of just her still figuring herself out, and of course me being a newborn and going throughout my journey and learning myself, we were always close. And I feel like us being close kind of contributed to like who I am today. Yeah. You know, because I was able to see my mom's younger self, and then still experience her to this day. You know, so I understand what my mom went through, and a lot of the times I was right there going through it with her. You know, so our relationship was always close. You know, I always respected my mom. I never let anyone disrespect my mom. You know, like I've never disrespected my mom, even still to this day. You know, and we were just always like right there with each other. You know, like she showed me the way. She did the best that she could. You know, I never missed out on anything. I had everything that I needed. You know, I was always involved in sports or just, you know, certain programs that just kept me busy and kept me away from a lot of the things that was happening around me in the city.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like she was, you know, she was tough on me. My mom would never let me quit anything. You know, like she would never let me quit anything, no matter how bad I wanted to, or she would always make sure I at least finished. You know, like even if I didn't reach a certain goal, she always made sure I finished, and she'll be right there to support me. You know what I'm saying? It was the same way for my fathers. You know, like they did the best that they could and gave me the things that I needed. You know, which is why I'm the man that I am. You know, because I had that support. You know what I'm saying? And I had that love. Like I never really experienced hate from my immediate family. You know, like I never felt like I was missing out on something. Now things weren't perfect, you know, but I never felt like I missed out. I always knew who my parents were. You know, I always knew what I wanted to do. I understood who I wanted to be. And like I said, that's just a test to the village, to them all working together to make sure that I had the things that I need throughout my life. So, you know, like I would kind of say like our relationships were always good. Like I don't really have like a bad story about us. You know, like I don't really have anything bad to say. Like I had a great upbringing, and you know, like I said, I guess that just goes back to having a good village. So I say everything was kosher. You know, everything was great, and I'm happy I turned out to be the person that I am.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
On the outside looking in, man, as far as your mother's concerned, man, she was always consistent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And proud. You know what I'm saying? You can see it. You know what I'm saying? You can hear it in her voice. You know what I'm saying? And you can and her actions manifest in love and support.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I always felt like, wow, now that's a strong ass mama right there. You know what I'm saying? And she never deviated from that, man. So, hey, shout out to your mom, man. Shout out, Neff. Love you.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
Yeah, still like that to this day, man.
Oh yeah. Core.
Yeah, man, it just I just appreciate, man, you know, the directness, man, and you know the comfort and the the responsible way that you kind of deliver your message, man. I really appreciate that. I mean, because you know you run into a lot of young folks, man, and I know you feel like you're old here, but you know I'm 49, so but you know you run into a lot of young folks, man, and they talk about having this. I got this line, I got that line, man. But you know, guys, young cats in our family, man, who are doing things along this line, man. When you talk to them, they have a very, very succinct vision, man. You know, and I find myself whenever I'm listening to a man, being in a place of proud jealousy. And what I mean, man, is you know what I mean? Because like I didn't have that, man. I didn't have that, man. I didn't have no plan. You know, shit. I was like, you know, I'm just gonna work. I'm gonna work for somebody else, man, and do the best I can. And, you know, to chase mid-level prosperity. You know, but that wasn't the point. The point is, you know, you in a position now, man, that you're actively being a caretaker of your vision, man. That's fucking huge. That's huge to me, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
You know, and not only did you dream it, when you woke up, you pursued it. And you know, the people who around you, your mom, your auntie, your granddad, your dads, and everything, man. You know, they, you know, if it wasn't planned out, man, they did a hell of a job. They did a hell of a job, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I support you, man. I love you to death, and I'm glad, so very glad that you know you took your time, man, to express how you going on about your thing on this platform here, man. Seriously.
Oh yeah, I appreciate y'all having me here, man.
No
Hey,
doubt.
hey, Keith, read some of them comments they saying about
Yeah,
you.
yeah. That's what I was getting ready to
Yeah.
say. You know, David, it's a tradition on these live podcasts is we make sure we acknowledge all the people that comment. I'm sure you're able to look at the comments, but I want to make sure that they know that we see them. You know, sister-in-law, I see you with your, love this with your heart. You know what I mean? I know you're over there. You go on them brownie points with Damon. You know what I'm saying? But
I responded back.
yeah. But hey, that's Aunt Robin right there, Facebook user. I don't know what you're doing with that old that counterfeit joint right
She
there.
changed up. Keith, she incognito, man. She underground.
Yeah. Hey, one of our past guests, KJ Jones. You know, KJ Jones. Hey, we love you, brother. Look,
What up, man?
I'm telling you now. You know, you inspire brothers like our brother David, man. You know, people like you and David. I love to hear y'all guys' story, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we're glad to see, look, hey, David, KJ, look, he and I went to Pitt together, and he had he had a degree in communication, right? One day he decided to go somewhere else, so what he ended up doing was going into the auto magazines. Now this man is an editor of different magazines, and look, he's been on television. He's a television celebrity too. But, this is the kind of stuff, and one thing I want to say before I go to the questions I want to ask you, brother, is you.
I don't mean to cut you off, Keith. My bad. I got somebody here who a real supporter, man. We want to tell y'all, tell you how the brand made them feel, man. How you feel about Day One's Army, man?
My man.
Like just the meaning behind Day One's Army, like going through the world, so take out how you take.
Loyalty is royalty, man.
Yes, sir.
We got about 6 hats, man, and everything, man.
That's what's up, man.
Yes, sir. Emotions, man.
No doubt. See, that's what I'm saying. Tell the audience this young man is taking care of his business, man. I love that.
Yeah.
I love
it. Say he a businessman who delivers. He don't find that
what's
anywhere.
up.
You know what I mean?
What's up.
I'm on an interview right now, man. You like being on camera? I'm gonna show y'all what he's got, man. I'm gonna show y'all what he's got, man.
It's a dog. Like camera now. Come on.
Yeah. I like that, man. That's nice. Oh. That's nice.
Got the shirt to match.
Yes,
sir.
Yeah. Okay.
This real vibes right here, man. This is my everyday life, man.
Right.
Right. Always life, on that hustle, man. You're chasing your dream.
Yeah.
Look, Dominique. Hey, Dave, you see Dominique said he need the red joint.
Man, I got Dominique got a hat and a hoodie, man. I got him another one
for sure, Yeah. Hey, but look, like I said, man. Go ahead.
I'm listening.
No, you about to get into your questions, man. I just wanted to ask some other preliminary stuff.
He's still doing business. Go ahead and do what you do, Jakor.
I'm listening.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, man. You mentioned the fact that when you was in high school, you sold shoes and everything, and when you got older, you started to branch off into doing your own thing and everything. How much does today's fashion influence exactly what you do, or does it at all?
It really. That's why it's kind of hard because I didn't really make the transition to the new fashion. So I would say a person that really inspired the idea of adding the education to my brand in terms of me being confident in that is Virgil Abloh. He always I would watch his journey and study, how he went about his business. And if you watch a lot of his interviews, you know, it's a lot of information in there. Like people think he just made shoes and clothes, but it all tied in together. You know,
Gotcha.
like it was a certain message behind the brand, and he would add that on to the clothing or to just the fashion aspect in general, whatever he was working on.
Gotcha.
So I always, you know, like I saw that, and with that being a black man, of course, I saw that and was just like, okay, that's something you can add. So that's what made me think about, you know, what name could I come up with that could get people to be emotionally attached to it right away without me having to sit and explain why they should like it. You know, so
True.
when Day One's Only came about, it just made sense because it explained my life. You know what I'm saying? How I go about my day to day and how I am with my friends or just the people close to me. So, you know, I take a real pride in just being just a, you know what I'm saying, just being a respectful person, man. You know, just making sure I keep, you know, I keep my dignity and my reputation stable in a sense. So I think that's why education kind of helped that.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I understand that completely, man. I think one of my things is when you know when it comes to your journey, it has a lot to do with. That's why I always ask, you know, our different guests, and I'm asking you when it came to your journey, you know, the ups and downs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you're on the way up. You're because the reason why you're on the way up because you understand
I'm about to come back.
where you're headed
Appreciate
to.
it. Oh yeah, no doubt. I'll be back up in a month. I'm listening, cuz.
You know, you understand where you're going.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
where you want to go. So you know, this is in the category as a upswing. You know what I mean? Because
Uh-huh.
mentally, no matter if you're standing still, mentally, you see yourself going a certain way. That's where you're going. So,
Right.
was there ever a time where you wanted this to leave it alone because you became frustrated?
I would say during the pandemic, 2020. But I had a
Okay.
lot of I kind of had planned out my year. That's why I'm not saying I don't think with a plan at all, but during that time it really taught me to, you know, just kind of live in the moment.
Okay.
You know, like change, everybody's lives changed during that time. And it was just really rough for me. I had it I was on
You stopping, brother. I can't hardly hear you. I think you might be through the car. You're not in your earpiece.
Hold on.
Can
Okay,
you guys
I'm
hear
back.
him?
I'm back. I'm back.
There you go.
I'm
There
back.
you go.
Yeah.
All right, start over.
Run that back,
I just kind of ran through like a creative block, like I said.
Okay.
So with me going through that creative block, it was hard for me to come.
We're not.
Y'all hear me?
Now we can hear you now.
Y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. It was rough for me during 2020 because I was going through a creative block in terms of like where I wanted to take my brand, because I kind of, you know, like I just put out a shirt called Out of Emotions, and that's, you know, like that's
Big wheel.
really me. You know what I'm saying? That's really like I like putting ideas together with messaging and putting it on shirts.
Gotcha.
But the pandemic forced me to just focus on the name. You know, because we didn't really know how we was gonna come out of that. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like business or just life. So I said if I could use this time to really just push the name and get people locked in on the name, that when the world do decide to open up or whatever, like I can be ready for that.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
You know, I can be ready for that, and I can and once I feel like the name has been circulating enough, then I can get into like the graphic T-shirts. You
Gotcha.
know, which is why I started the summer off with that shirt. You know, like I'm gonna do a few different shirts like that as time goes on, but I'm gonna always have the day ones only with just the name. Right,
No doubt.
that's gonna always be available. I'm always gonna have that for people to purchase. But you know, like it's just like I want to get deeper with my messaging. So in
And
order for me to get deeper, in order for me to get deeper with my messaging, I have to become more creative with my t-shirts.
I mean,
You
you
know,
got to think
so
about it. You know, day ones only is your anchor. So of course, it makes sense that you're gonna hold on to that. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And
right.
and that's the truth. I tell you what. On a personal note, you know, before I get into these questions, on the personal note, my son Keith is going into the same venture as you because he has his own clothing line, Boog
Right.
Anonymous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a funny thing where, you know, he's a basketball player. You know, he played overseas in Italy and Peru. You know,
Mm-hmm.
graduated from college, the whole nine. And
Mm-hmm.
I've always said to him, if you have a talent to go into your own situation,
Mm-hmm.
I encourage him to do it. You know what I mean? And I told him I would give him
Right.
all the support I can possibly give him for the simple fact
Right.
that um, freedom, man, freedom.
Mm-hmm.
My,
Mm-hmm.
my, my, my oldest son has a free spirit,
Right.
which is frustrating sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But not, and
Yeah.
that's not a disparagement on him. It's
Mm-hmm.
just I was raised in a different way. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? In the sense
Right.
that, so I take the blame, but if it's any blame to take, in the sense the way that I see things, he sees things different. I see him another way. Take
Mm-hmm.
care of the business that you can take care of, and
Right.
then the other stuff that comes. Now you really prepared because you don't have to worry about the little miscellaneous shit. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And that's a that's a good point. That's the reason why, like just in terms of my journey, I'm not sure how cuz, what I'm saying, what cuz got going on, but in comparison, I'm saying, to me, I still work.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just got my 10-year medal in the mail. I've been at my job 10 years. But I use my job as a stepping stone. Like I go into work and I tell anybody, you know what I'm saying, higher up, employee, manager, this is business for me. But one thing you're gonna get out of me is value. I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna work. But
Yeah.
this is business. I don't get tied up in all the extra. I don't want to be a part of nothing else. I want to come in here for my 8 hours, do what I gotta do, and get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because I know as long as I'm coming in here, this is paying my bills to the point where I can focus on my venture and actually focus on the creativity and not worry about making money. And when
No
I
doubt.
can build that, that'll turn into currency.
Right.
And once that
Right.
turns into currency, now I'm able to own all of my time.
Exactly.
But I'm not gonna rush my process because, oh, I'm tired of dealing with you. Like, nah, we work together. Supervisor, manager, whatever. You work with me just like I work with you.
Yeah.
So you put up with me the same way I'm gonna have to put up with you. And that's a way for me to stay grounded while working a 9 to 5. I don't get too involved. I do what I do. I'm a good worker, but I also use it to keep me in the working mood. Like I don't mind hard work. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not nobody that runs from hard work. I don't want to be comfortable, complacent. Like no, I'm coming in here for 8 hours. I don't want to sit around for 8 hours. That's
I
boring to
got
me.
you. Got
You
you.
know what I'm saying? Like give me some work. So for
Oh
this
yeah.
8 hours, time is gonna fly by, and when I get out of here, I'm gonna use that same work ethic I had in here and apply it to myself. So it keeps me in the working mood and just it just keep me motivated. You know what I'm saying? It gives me a reason to go hard because I know what I want, and I know this isn't the end goal for me. Even though it's a good job, it's not the end goal for me. It's a stepping stone to what I really want to do. So that's a way for me to stay, you know what I'm saying, stay motivated and creative in my brand. Because I know when I'm going to work, it's just business. Like, I work for you for 8 hours, but when I clock out of here, I'm not an employee. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not an employee, but for these 8 hours, I am an employee. And
It's
I'm
all
perfectly fine
stepping
with that.
stones, man. It's all stepping
stepping
stones.
stones.
It always is. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, and just for and guys, you can, before I get into the questions, but guys, I need you to comment on this because see, this actual podcast has something to do with the three of us because, of course, we do it together because we want to be around each other, right? But we all have aspirations of where we want this to go, right? And we also have aspiration of where we want to take our talents too. Because I got two of the talents that I work with every day. You know what I mean? Look, they're thespians, you know? But what I
He
want,
said
Jaquari and
both
Damon,
was thespians.
yes, indeed. So Jaquari and Damon, what I want you to do is just talk about your experience. Talk to David about your experience and what this podcast has done for you. We'll start with you, Damon.
What it's done for me, man, is to move outside of my comfort zone. You know, when I think back on my past life, up to the present, as a matter of fact, there are a lot of things, man, that people in general miss out on because they choose to stay in their comfort zone. You know, afraid to move outside of that and basically live out their lives just maintaining. You know, and when you're alone and you're by yourself, you start thinking about, wow, you know what, I should have jumped on this opportunity, or I should have jumped on that opportunity. And what this podcast has done for me, man, was first of all, discipline me enough to listen to other people. You know what I'm saying? Not coming to a situation with a preconceived notional idea, but just listen to people as they talk and speak about their lives. You know what I'm saying? Because it's, you know, it is strong perspective. You know what I'm saying? What do you think? How do you think your life is going? What's your experience? What did you see? I caught it at the tail end of, I caught some of what you said, you know, when you're speaking about the pandemic and all that stuff and not being creative and all that stuff. The most impressive thing that I got from that, from what I heard, man, is that you had this innate ability to step back, you know what I'm saying, and then look at the landscape. Not being discouraged by it, but take a step back, you know what I'm saying, and look at, okay, from my own perspective. Because as far as everything you said, you know what I'm saying, you got examples from people, but you're not following people's lead, though. You know what I'm saying? You blazing your own trail. And it's all based on where you're coming from. You're an open book. You're an open book. You're not against hard work. You understand the boundaries. That's very, very profound, man. That's very profound and very mature. You know what I'm saying? That's going to take you a long way as you get off into your different, different things that you're trying to do in your life. Because you're coming from a grounded place. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very impressed by that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Quart,
Yeah,
do you need me to repeat the question, or do you want to?
Yeah, because I went way off the reservation, didn't I?
I got it.
It is what it is, man. That's what I do, man.
It happens, man.
Go ahead,
It happens, man. Hey, you know what? 2 months ago, I would have been like, man, yeah, I don't even remember the question. But, I mean, you know, it just speaks to, you know, the experience that we, you know, all three of us gained, you know, during this process, man. You know, this podcast has given me the opportunity, man, to, you know, finish my sentence, finish a thought. You know what I mean? Because in my mind, you know, sometimes I tend to ramble, and a lot of people, you know, in my everyday life don't have patience for it, and I can't really blame them for that. You know, because, you know, I got a lot of shit jumbling in my head, man, a lot of stuff, you know, and it's always been a point of frustration for me, man, you know, to finish a thought. Hell, I stutter, so it's gonna take me a little while longer. You know what I mean? And just being involved with this, man, and following through with, you know, actually putting myself out there, you know, with absolutely no expectation, you know, and no sense of consequences or anything like that, man. It's been terrifying for me. It's been terrifying for me, man. But, you know, it's also put me in a space to where, you know, I know that I got it. I do what I want to do. You know what I mean? You know, you know, when I was in college or whatever, I felt the same way when I was, you know, on the stage. You know, I felt like I had certain control. You know what I mean? And that, you know, and not in a negative sense. You know, there's something to be said about a situation, man, where you like I said, can speak and finish your thought. When people listen, man, not only do they listen, but they respond through the comments. You know, and whether they agree or they disagree, you know, it doesn't matter. The art of conversation is here and it's alive.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and I think, you know, including you, David, I think the people we on the show up point, man, it's only support, you know, our mission statement, man. We're letting everyday people on here and explain the dynamic things that they do.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
everybody, man, everybody's got, you know, yeah, you know, like, you don't have to
Everybody has a certain gift,
be,
certain time.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
but unfortunately, everybody doesn't have an opportunity to, you know, to express that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's, you know, my brother Keith says it all the time. You know, not only will you hear your own voice, but you'll hear what you have to say. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things, man. You know, I didn't know exactly where I was going to end up when I started. You know, when I started the steps or whatever. You know, but up to this point, I believe I've been successful. I believe we've all been successful. You know, it's all about adjusting our goals, you know, to start thinking about bigger things. You know, what's next? You know, or is it too early? You know, we had that conversation yesterday. You know, after we got after we got off the line with you, David. You know, we sat around and, you know, that was a question that I just kept asking. You know, I mean, do we wait for our shot, or do we try to create our own shot? You know, and that's not a bad thing. That's options, because a lot of other parts of my life, I don't necessarily have that option. I have what I have. You know, I work for Prince William County. I don't control that part of my destiny because I depend on them for my livelihood. I don't want to be in that position anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in that position anymore. You know, I mean, I want to be able to affect people, man. You know, not only through a podcast, but, you know, depending on the resources, I could say what I needed to say, you know, to that person's face. You know,
Right.
I could position
Right.
myself, man, to, you know, probably not, you know, do everything that I want to do, but, you know, from an artistic point of view, man, just to, you know, see what else is out there.
Right.
You know,
All right, well, look.
every time, you know. Oh, go ahead.
Look. I'm gonna give you some more time at the end, but I want to get to these questions because I think it's some meaningful questions for David, because it'll enlighten us and it'll probably enlighten him himself. Because right now, David, you're the youngest person that we've had on this podcast. It's not because we're trying to be exclusionary, you know. Oh, we just want old heads here. No, what I do is, and my brothers, what we do is we go out and we actively ask people. And one thing, the unique thing about you is you asked to come here. And that really is special to us. You see what I'm saying? So What I want to know, and I made sure that I get it word for word. What is your view of the world as a young man right now? As a matter of fact, let's erase world. What is your view of our community as a young man right now?
We need resources.
Okay.
I feel like that's the one thing that a lot of communities don't have in terms of our communities. Resources, access to information, access to different things. Like it's not just like, even though I work at the hospital, you can work at the plant. There's so many different things you can do. It's so many different skilled trade jobs. There's so many different organizations you can be a part of that will help you learn about certain things. And I recently just went to a banquet. I want to shout out Anthony Strickland and Mark Cook and the Defy program. I just recently went to a banquet because I had a best friend, who worked with kids and who worked in the community. And his journey was cut short, about 4 years ago, and they brought me and my friends on there to like kind of present an award in his honor. And just being a part of that energy, man, it was just like, that's what we needed. Like that's what we need right now. Like a lot of my friends that I have to this day, I have through sports organizations, through things going on in the community. So it's like we learned that camaraderie growing up to the point where we get to the point where it's time for us to give back to the community. It's time for us to get involved. And you can sit back on the outside, everybody can say, oh, these kids dumb, or they keep killing each other, they keep doing this, and it's like, there's no resources.
Gotcha.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Community centers, there's no camps going on anymore. Like, I don't even know if it's a township basketball league anymore. How can you expect, like I mentioned earlier, how can we expect change if we're not willing to educate?
Yeah.
If you're not willing to explain to them how they can be better, why would they be better? They're gonna do everything. They're gonna mimic what they see, and 9 times out of 10, it's on the television. Like one of the most popular games right now is Call of Duty. On Call of Duty, you ain't doing nothing but shooting people.
Right.
And it's like, it's nothing wrong with that. It's a video game. People enjoy video games, and that's cool. But it needs to be a balance. Like we need a balance. Like, okay, I remember a point in time it was cut that game off and go outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, cut that game off, we finna go to practice. Or we about to go over here, we about to do this. It wasn't just sitting on the game all day.
Yeah.
And I think eliminating a lot of those resources in the community kind of forces people to stay in the house. So the way of the world right now, to me, is really at your disposal. Like you have some people who will look into the information. I was always into researching things on the internet. So I'm one of the people that's going to take my time and use my time to go find X, Y, and Z on the internet. But not everybody is going to do that. We can't depend on everybody to take that route. And we have to be able to offer other options in order to create the change that we really want. Or are we just sitting around talking about it? And that's why I say education is important. Not school, but education.
Gotcha.
Explaining to people why. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you be loyal without showing you how to be loyal. I can't tell you to be committed without showing you how to be committed. Like, it all goes hand in hand. So in order for the world to change and get back to what we knew it as, or to make it better, I feel like we need to add more resources. We need resources for our kids. We need resources for their friends. Like their parents. Like I remember, like growing up with my friends, like our moms worked together to make sure we got to where we got to.
Yeah.
Like if one parent was at work, the other parent to go pick up X, Y, and Z and take them to wherever they needed to go. Like we work together. Like right now, I feel like everything is separated and everybody kind of off doing their own thing. And that's why people probably don't feel the need to add the resources that we need to change the minds of our youth or even the world, you know. And I don't mean by, you know, it can't just be, like I said, it can't just be research on the internet. Like I researched on the internet and I went and applied it in my life. It wasn't just researching on the internet, you know, because sometimes too much information without action can be bad too. You
Good
know, like
point.
you have to go and live it out to see the result. Sometimes what you asking for is not what you really want. And in order for you to find that out, you have to go do it. You know, it's easy for me to look online and be like, "Damn, that look cool, that look fun. I'm about to go do that." And then you get in it and you start to do it, and you like, "I hate it." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but when you just on the outside just looking in, like, "Oh, I like Call of Duty. I like shooting people. Let me go out into the world and shoot people." Now we in prison, and it's like, "Damn, I don't even like that I did that."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, you know, you have to go out and live out the information and see the results in order to really build that confidence and trust within yourself, in my opinion.
Okay.
You know,
Well,
because a
look.
lot of things. I'm sorry.
No. Before you go any further, there's a second part to this question. Okay.
Hmm.
And you know, you understand the first part of it, right? Now, do you
Yep.
believe there is a generational gap between people our age and your age? You're in your 30s or
Yep.
29, getting ready to turn
29.
30.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So there is a thing out there that says that the young folks don't want to listen to the older folks, and vice versa. Do you
Hmm.
think that's a reality? Because I
I
know
think
Damon
so.
and Jaquari, I know y'all have questions. Y'all want to make, you know, y'all want to make some comments. I just wanted to throw this second part in it so we can hear
Go ahead,
David's
man.
response.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think so. You know, but I think that's natural. I think that's with any generation.
Okay.
You know, like I
Your
I
response.
think I think the name what's the name of that movie, The Butler? Do y'all remember that movie,
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Butler,
yeah,
when
yeah, yeah. With
the black guy worked in the White House?
Forrest
So you
Whitaker
know,
and all that. Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker, yeah. So even in that movie, you know, his son was a part of the new movement. You know, he was a part of the new movement. He wanted to change, and he inserted himself in that world. But his father works in the White House. You know, so his dad is telling him like, "Hey man, you need to come over here and do this. Like, don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Like, there's repercussions for that." And he's like, "Dad, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. Like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to see change. So that's what I'm gonna go. That's how I'm gonna go about it." And it's natural for a parent to feel like that, you know. But one thing I noticed at the end of that movie was the father was able to understand and get that clarity and like, okay, wow, like my son, like not only was my son a part of that, things actually changed.
Hmm.
You know, like things actually changed. Imagine if everybody just went along with what another generation told us. Like we have to add on and get better with it. It can't be the same process. We can't keep making the same decisions for 50, 60 years and then look up and blame other people. You know, like with my parents, you know what I'm saying? My mom and my dad and you know what I'm saying, and my granddad, they worked. They worked tirelessly, you know what I'm saying, to have the things that they need and to have things that they needed. And I took on that same approach, but it's also my job to find a way to make it better. Like how can I level it up more? You know what I'm saying? Like it can't just be go to work, retire, you know what I'm saying, pay bills. Like what can I do to level up this situation and add on to what my parents presented to me? Because in order for me to do, you know what I'm saying, in order for my kids or the next generation to do that, I have to understand it. So it's like, okay, we can't keep making the same decisions. And sometimes when you're taking a different path, it creates that division. Because
I
you're
got
gonna
you.
have people who think the way that they think. And you're gonna have the new way of thinking. It's like, no, we gotta change X, Y, and Z. They're like, no, just keep it the same. But it's like, no, we need that change. So it's gonna happen with us. The
I
generation
got
under us, like, it's gonna be the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's natural.
you. I got you. All right, but Damon Jaquari, I see you chomping at the bits, man. We'll start with you, Damon.
I mean, I was
Yeah.
listening, man.
Oh, so you good? Jaquar, you have anything
I
to
was
say?
listening, man. Man said everything right.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
Jaquar.
You know, I'm just I'm blown away by your candor, bro. For real. I mean, you know, it's refreshing to to hear some of the thoughts that I'm quite sure the majority of young folks your age is thinking. I mean, that's you know we all know what the general societal issues are. And as you said, as you alluded to, for the last 55 years, we've been all screaming at the top of our lungs about what the problems are. But rarely do you have anybody that's presents some viable solutions. I mean,
Mhm.
and that's not easy. It's not easy. That's why it's taking. That's why this particular conversation of change is taking us so long. But I think and you're an example of that, man, by trying to be self-sufficient and establish your own your own business, your own self. That's the key right there. I mean, we don't need to rely on the government to give us answers for anything. We're more than intelligent enough to figure these things out amongst our own communities or whatever. Our only roadblock, man, is probably letting go some of the governmental resources and creating our own.
Mhm.
You know, there's so much knowledge, man. So much, you know, there's so much money. There's so much opportunity in the Black community, man. But we're so fixated on trying to match, you know, white community and the powers that be. I don't see it necessary for us to try to match them at all, because once we finally get our thing together, more than likely we will exceed them. It's all about us it's about us getting out of our own way.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
it's got to be, it's at some point, man. It's got to be a marriage between young folks with the thinking that you have, and people from the older generation, who are humble enough to listen, man, and understand that we have the resources, you have the ideas, and when that's blended, we could be unstoppable as a nation.
Mhm.
But it's
Yep.
it's all about us.
Yep. Yep.
Well, look, let me. I usually respond to one or two of these questions, and this is one I definitely want to respond to. And let me acknowledge everybody that's on. You know what I'm saying? Harder Ways, Julio, Harder
What up,
Ways
Cuzzo?
Clothing. What's
What's
going
going on,
on,
bro?
brother? You know, they're very complimentary of you, David. So you keep
Yeah.
doing you keep doing what you do. Lawrence, love you, cuz. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Hey, look, let me Aunt Jeannie, I ain't forget about you. Love you. Love you to
Love
death.
y'all too.
But look, let me explain something to y'all. And look, I'm not disagreeing with anything that you guys said, because I fully understand why we would see that this way. But I don't see a generational gap, because first and foremost, everything that the individualism that being spoken now, I felt that at 20 years old. I felt that at 30, right? Because I was taught to feel that way. You understand your independence and who you are. See, me personally, when it comes to community, pride gets in the way of everything. From the old head to the young bull.
Mhm.
Pride gets in the way. I'm trying to get this done. The young boy is saying, I'm trying to get this done, and he's found an easier way to do it through social media, because it's
Mhm.
advertisement. You can do anything as long as you are in the right position to do it, right? Old heads like, man, you need to go to work. Yeah, that worked at one time, but it don't work anymore if you're trying to move in this new way of doing things, right?
Yep.
This is why I love this right here. I was so grateful that a young man who has this thing together that came onto our situation, because what it is it's dialogue. Me, I worked for 30 years in law enforcement, so I saw the good and the bad of our community. This is the bottom line. I paid attention to it. I saw victims. I saw the people who did the things. I saw them all as human beings, period. So when I go out here, I'm not going to say, hey, you know, he ain't no good, right? When this person becomes a problem with me is when I know, not because of his upbringing, but I know he made a choice to victimize somebody else. See, that's the key to it. We get focused on only the small percentage of people doing wrong, right?
Yep.
When the major majority of us are trying to just exist, and we go to work every day, and we take care of our families every single day. This is young and old. See, that's the connection. Everybody's doing the same thing. They're flowing the same way. Now, the only difference is what we're doing now. Social media has made it easier to communicate. But what do we do with it? We do it to, some of us do it to be popular. David, you told me about the brother, you know, in West Willow, you know, who got killed.
Yep.
Over some social media bullshit.
Yeah.
Come on,
Sad,
dog.
man. Sad, man.
Now, this is not a judgment on those individuals, which they need to be judged. But it's not a judgment on them. But think about it. This man's trying to be famous by doing whatever he's doing with it, right? And these other people are prideful because something happened to their people, and it's embarrassing to them.
Yep.
You understand? Think about how foolish that is. But it happens because it's human nature. It ain't a black thing. It's human nature to be foolish. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is this, guys. This is what I'm saying. To answer my question, I don't think it's a divide at all. It's just a prideful, hey, let's sit down and chop this up. Seriously chop this up. Without trying to win the argument or win the debate or be the smartest in the room.
Well,
it's about a conversation.
And I concur with a lot of what you said, Keith, man. But here's the thing, man. The reason why I don't, you said it's about pridefulness and all that stuff between the young and the old, right? But because I'm at the stage of my life, at 56 years old, I'm at the stage of my life right now. I heard David talk about that grind, that work, and all that. I heard all of that. But you know what I heard? You know what stuck in my head? Based on the fact that I am able to listen and comprehend, you know what I'm saying, listening to comprehend is when, and like I said, I only caught certain aspects of it, but when you're talking about that COVID situation, now think about that shit. Think about that for 1 minute, man. This brother talked about the COVID shit and how it affected him and his non-creativity and all that stuff. And what did you do, man? What did you do, David? You internalized that and you found another strategy. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. You're right.
You found another strategy. That's the connection between the young and the old, man. The old are survivors. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. The old are survivors, and they figure out how to survive and manifest a life out of that and be an example. You know what I'm saying? Yep. At 29 years old, you got it from your parents, you got it from your grandparents, and your loved ones. And you were able to take what they taught you, internalize it, and come out with ideas and shit. You understand what I'm saying? You didn't sit at home, you know what I'm saying, get fucked up, go out drinking and drive, and or go somewhere and get in some trouble. No, you internalize it. So, okay, I need to take a step back, reevaluate the landscape, and come out anew. And the things that you were facing were things you had absolutely no control over. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There were people literally committing suicide because of the pandemic and the quarantine. Look how you emerged from that.
Mm-hmm.
Look how you emerged from that. And that's the point. That's what I heard. You know what I'm saying? I understand if you're just looking at it in a situation where, you know what, these are the experiences, these are the things that happen. But because I listen, I'm like, no, this dude on the ball with this shit. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get depressed by it. He came out with a plan. He came out with a plan.
It was depressing.
Oh, right.
I definitely went through a tough time, you know what I'm saying, on a mental level during that period because I wasn't able to express myself the way I wanted. I went to therapy and everything, you know, but I used certain tools to make me better. Like how you said, like you sat and just listened. I always thought, you know what I'm saying, going to therapy was like, I ain't going to therapy. It's like, when you talk to a therapist for? But I had to have an open mind with it because I felt like during that time I wasn't in control. You know, it was time for me to step out and go talk to somebody that may be able to offer me some professional tools that I can apply. And that's what I did. Like, I didn't use therapy as a crutch. I used it to listen and understand how I can be better and grow out of this. And that opened up when I started to practice it. It opened up my mind and it kind of opened up my world. You know what I'm saying? It was very beneficial for me. Like, you know, like however people view going to therapy, you know what I'm saying? That's personal. I can't really speak on that and say anybody's right or wrong. But I know that it helped me in terms of keeping my mind fresh enough to be able to take that next step. You know, and create those strategies. You know
That's
what I'm
real
saying?
and honest.
That's the one time I can admit, you know, I didn't feel like I was in control.
Yeah.
But I didn't take it out on myself. You know,
Right.
I didn't take it out on somebody else. You know, it's like, okay, I'm not in control. Like, well, let me find the help. Somebody offered the therapist. I gave it a try. I talked. They talked to me, offered me certain things, and it's like I would practice it and I would see results. And go back to what I said earlier. You practice it and you see results. So it's like, okay, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, in that instance, that did work. You know, and I would take that back to them and discuss it. And they would give me more tools. You know, like, I think sometimes when people go to therapy, they're looking for somebody to change their life. And that's not necessarily their job. It's your job to listen and use these tools. It's just like coaching. It's just like, you know what I'm saying, like playing sports with coaching. It's times you just need to listen and apply these tools. Your coach's not going to make you a better player. You have to make yourself a better player, but they offer you tools and certain things that can add to your game that will make you a better player.
Yeah.
But it's not their job to make you the best quarterback in the country. You have to apply that work. You know what I'm saying? You have to come to the film room. You got to go sit to the side and talk to coach. Okay, coach, that drive is over. What did you see that I didn't see? And they offer that to you, so that next drive you go out and you notice those things and you see those results, and that's what gives you the confidence. So I feel like that's definitely something that helped, was just the tools. I won't say it was actual therapy, it was just the tools.
Well, now, guys, my thing is this. What I understand is, I've always understood about myself is, I go after the things that's going to make me feel better. I've never gave a damn about what anybody else thought. But see, that was a process I had to get to. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's what you're saying, David, is like, you wanted what was best for you. You know what I mean? Damon, you the same way. And see, we all pick that up. You know? I just think that sometimes, man, see, I've never relied on the outside to make decisions for me.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times you go chase the opinion of people who haven't even made enough impact on themselves to form their own decision, their own opinions about themselves. So when they look at you, guess what they're going to do? They're going to find
Yep.
either the most complimentary thing to say to you or the worst thing to say to you, because they don't want the responsibility of your happiness or your sadness. So what do? They give you a blanket statement and they move on. Now, this is my opinion
Yep.
about it. You know, so what I do is I settle in on who I am. And who I am is not a perfect human being, but more of somebody trying to make his way through this world, man. Period. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Making mistakes.
Big facts.
Well, look,
Big facts.
Corey, do you have anything before I move on to the next question? Because I want to get this in because you have made a great impact on our audience, first and foremost, because everybody's complimentary of you. And also, we want to get your younger point of view of these things. Corey, do you have anything?
I don't. I just go ahead and ask the next question, man, because I'm eager to hear what he's got to say.
Look, this next question is going to bring it on home on this fantastic episode and this fantastic interview. And it's a simple question, David. What did your upbringing, how did your upbringing affect the man that you are today? Now, hold on.
I got.
Hold on. I don't want no blanket statement, man. So don't give us that shit, David. I want the realness. No,
he ain't been. He been going like that.
Look, we let you get away with it early. We let you get away with it early. We at the end of this shit, and you don't got to give us no dirt or anything like that. We want to talk. We want to know about you and your heart. You understand what I'm saying to you? How did it affect who you are? That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
I would say this. I seen a lot of things growing up. You know, I've always been like a sponge. You know, like I was always quiet. You know, like I'd be sitting in the room, you would forget I was even there. You know, so like I would just hear, you know, like you have a lot of older people around you. You have a lot of older examples around you. And sometimes when you sit and just listen, you hear a lot of different things. You know, like I heard a lot of different things my mom went through. I heard a lot of different things my grandparents went through, my uncle, my dad. So listening and taking it in and like, okay, that I seen how that worked out. You know what I'm saying? I may not try that, but I can use that same influence to take a different approach. So having those examples and like I said, being surrounded around that love and just real people, it gave me the confidence within myself. You know, like my grandfather played a huge part in my confidence. You know, because he was always there. You know, like he would record my football games. He would record my football games. He would record my basketball games, and he would bring me in the basement, and we would watch it. Mm-hmm. You know, like so he would teach me not only, you know what I'm saying, like how to be better, but where to be better. You know, like he would pinpoint certain things that I can pick up on and use the next time I go out there on the basketball court or on the football field. He taught me how to eat the right food so I can be at a certain weight, so I can play at the highest level that I can play at. You know, so just really having like those that responsibility around me helped me embrace the responsibility that I embrace today, which is changing perspective. You know, like without that, I don't know how I would have went about life. You know what I'm saying? Like my grandfather was a confident guy. You know, like he believed in himself and he believed in everybody around him. And if you ever had a conversation with him, you can attest to that.
Yeah.
So I had many conversations in the car. I had many conversations just being in the house, sitting on the couch, just learning about different things. You know what I'm saying? Like my granddad kept it all the way real with me. You know, so it allowed me to keep it all the way real with myself. It's like, okay, I'm slacking over here. I identify that. Let me pick that up. You know what I'm saying? Like let me get this together. So it's like, okay, now that's taken care of. What's next? It's always something to be done. The journey is never over. It's always something to correct. Nobody is perfect. But I can always respect someone that understands that they're not perfect, but willing to be better.
No doubt.
You know, like, and that's what I was taught. I was taught that in sports. You know, like, coaches holding you accountable. Like, I was just talking to one of my old coaches a few weeks ago, and, you know, he kind of just asked me how business was. And I was like, you know, it's like that blindside hit. It don't always come, but when it comes, you feel it. And sometimes in football, when you get that blindside hitting you on your back, the first thing you do is look up at the sky. But guess what happens right after that? You got to get back up. Next play. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that resiliency is kind of embedded in me because of that. Not only was it in my household, but it was in my activities. You know, like my activities taught me how to be resilient. I was always a bigger guy. You know, growing up, I was always a chubby guy, but I'm always going to finish. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we got to run 3 laps. It might take me a little longer than skilled players, but we're going to finish. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to finish, you know, so it taught me that no matter what, just finish. You're going to have bumps in the road. Things are going to happen. People are going to say things about you. People are going to try to discourage you. All these things are a part of life. Like you said, it's human nature. But when it's all said and done and the smoke clears, it's still time to get up and go about what you need to do. I never let anything hold me back. I'm the only person that can hold me back. That's why I say, like, I'm in control. And I don't mean I'm in control of everybody else. I'm in control of me. So me being in control of me allows me to control my atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here to control and tell you, like, hey, you need to stop doing this to me. It's like, okay, when you do something to me, I'm going to express that to you, and I'm going to let you know what the solution will be. Because we're not going to go through it again.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to happen twice. It's going to happen one time. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I still would keep that respect, though. Go out in the world and bash your name, or I'm not going to be disrespectful with you. It's like, hey, I didn't like X, Y, and Z. Cool. You know what I'm saying? It won't happen again because we're going to go about it a different way, both of us.
Yeah.
Because I'm in control of me. And if that's not something that you're okay with, then I'll just eliminate myself. You know what I'm saying? So that resiliency and that confidence just was taught to me. You know, like, I wasn't born with it. Like I said in the interview I did, you're not born a loyal person. You possess these traits over time. You possess these traits over time, and in certain situations that's presented to you that shows you exactly who you are. Everybody know who they are. You know what you do before you do it to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already know why you're doing it. Now, you may not take accountability into why you did what you did, but you know why you did what you did. Sometimes we don't need to discuss that. But you did what you did, and that's okay. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool. But I have enough confidence in myself and just belief in myself to the point where it's like, okay, I'm not going to confide to what somebody does with me. It's my job to change how I interact and how I deal with that situation. And that's why I say I'm in control. Because I was taught how to be in control of myself. So I feel like that's what my childhood played into the person, and it affected me in a positive way. You know, like, I don't really feel like my childhood affected me in a negative way. You know, like, I always listened. I still listen to this day. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to an OG. I'm listening.
Yeah.
You know, because it's things that y'all would be able to talk to me and teach me about that I haven't even experienced yet. You know, but when the situation presents itself, based off of what you told me, what you presented to me, I'm able to understand how I can get through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so that's why I say, you know, it starts in the household. Like everything starts in the household. It starts on where you came from and having those resources. That's why I feel like it's important to have resources, because we have to educate.
Okay.
You know, we have to educate to understand in order to really truly get the change that we want, or we just gonna be begging forever. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not my brand.
Day ones only.
Day ones only.
That's what's up. Hey, look,
Day ones only.
Dave, what I need you to do, go ahead and type your
Hold on, I'm about to go
store
look on that.
address in the comments, man. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Let people know where they can get your stuff. You know, hey, look, we use them. It's great quality material. Everybody that's listening to this and who's going to listen to it later, this young man is on the ball. He's doing what he needs to do. Okay? So what we're going to do now, David, is we're getting ready to go into Damon's 5-minute Speak On It Strong. He usually give us, just hit David up on his Instagram. He'll get back to you and he'll ship it out to you. Just let him know your size and you're going to go from there. But Damon, it is that time, brother.
Man,
Speak On It Strong.
I was sitting around thinking about what I wanted to talk about, man. You know, and there's a whole lot of things that's happening in this world, man, that that you're exposed to, that you can have an opinion on, and sometimes it can become overwhelming to you.
Mm-hmm.
So this time, man, I had to take a step back. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just too much information. So what I do when I'm in a certain type of mood or whatever, I go to my therapy, man. And here's one of the things that I go to. I go to YouTube and I start looking at these YouTube videos out of Ghana.
Okay.
Out of Ghana, you know what I'm saying? And I was sitting up there, and as I was trying to decompress with all these things going on and happening in this country, and I was trying to, you know, find a happy place, it dawned on me, man, as I was looking at these people in their everyday lives and stuff like that, I was like, wow, man, I wonder how it would feel to visit a place like that. Kudos, hey, shout out to all the people who ever visit Africa, man. Shout out to you, because I bet you, man, I can only imagine the experience, man, of being in a place where you possibly come from, you know what I'm saying, as far as your heritage is concerned, and all that. But the one thing that I thought about mostly, man, is something that I've never experienced in my life. And that's that peace of being around somebody that look like you, you know what I'm saying, being around, being in a place where somebody that looks like you controls everything. You know, and there's no that underlying agenda, man, of because of the color of your skin doesn't come into play. So think about that for a minute. How many people you know has actually experienced that situation? You know what I'm saying? We as black men, we wake up every day not knowing. All because of the color of our skin.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Not even knowing what's coming our way. We don't know. And usually during a week's time, something gonna happen. Somebody gonna clutch their purse. Somebody gonna follow you. Whatever. How many people you know? How many people you know, man, has had peace? You know what I'm saying? In terms of not being judged because of the color of their skin. I'm saying, think about what that does to you, how it affects your psyche, and how you pass that shit on to your loved ones and your kids and shit. That's a sickness, man. For lack of a better phrase, that's a sickness that we pass on. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say this, man. Yes, we all save up money and all that stuff to go visit the Caribbean and get on ships and all that stuff. But how many of us say, okay, man, let's go over to Ghana or Nigeria and just interact with those people? You know what I'm saying? Because Lord knows there's a gulf between all of us, man. You know what I'm saying? We still are being guided and controlled by the propaganda. As I sit back and I watch those things, man, I'm like, damn, that brother look like somebody I know. Hell, that brother he kind of favored me a little bit. Is that what this country is? Those are the is that the images that this country put out about Africa?
Mm-hmm.
It's not. You know what I'm saying? Sisters walking around with braids, man. And I'm like, damn, these sisters got braids. Then it dawned on me, hell, that's where it came from. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that started to come up, they adopted wearing wigs from here. You know what I'm saying? But braids and style came from there. And it's like you just don't know unless you take the opportunity to look. You know, and I looked at it for my own peace of mind and my own freedom. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going next year. I'm going next year to interact with those people in that country. And I'm not going to take my stereotypes with me and none of that bullshit. I'm going to go and interact with the people. And if I can find a venture I can get off into, Dave, you're an entrepreneur. Just think if you can take an idea and go over there and open up a business, man, and make that connection and build that shit. Your kids, hey, my dad got a business over in Ghana. We going over there we going over there next year. You know what I'm saying? The next year is running and being prosperous. You know what I'm saying? So imagine that connection, man, that your kids will have with that. Will have with that. Hey, man, I got a home in Ghana. I got a home in Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? You're not displaced. You know what I'm saying? You're not displaced. You're not a stepchild. You grounded somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You can build a legacy. And you might experience not that feeling of not being chased or arrested or judged or incarcerated. You can just actually be free. How many of us know what the hell that feels like? I want to know. If it's just one experience in my life. You know what I'm saying? And that was just something personal, man. You know, that was just weighing on my mind, and that's all I really want to say about that.
That's well said, man.
Love it.
Well said, brother.
Love
You
it.
know, so-
All right, well, look. What we're doing, we're at the end of this episode with David Davis, Day Ones Only clothing line. We appreciate you, brother. Hey, listen. You were very impactful, well spoken, which we had no doubt about that. But the compliments coming through the comments was really overwhelming. But
Yeah,
we
real.
knew that. No, we told you last night this was going to be a good one. We told you that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Mhm.
We discussed it amongst each other. This is what we understood about what was going on. For the simple fact that the energy that you give off is positive, and it can be overwhelming to people who don't want it. But we were ready to receive it. You know what I mean? So
That's why I say it's cool. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's
Thank
cool,
you,
you
brother.
know what I'm saying?
Damon, you got any last words?
No, man, I'm pretty good, man. I ain't had to say nothing, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
As far as, you know, it's just my time to listen, man, and I appreciate you, David, man. Real talk.
Appreciate y'all for having me on here, man.
Jaquar,
Thank you.
Hey, like my brother, man. I didn't, want to say anything to interrupt the flow, man. I enjoyed the conversation. Like I said, I enjoyed your candor. I enjoyed your honesty, man. I enjoy, hearing about your journey, and I didn't, like I told you last night, man. I had no doubt, man, that this is going to be one of the great ones. I feel like this is one of the great ones, man. Seriously, and I appreciate you taking the time, man. And I really do hope that you can take some more time for us in the future, man. For real.
I'm always available,
This is
man. Yeah, always
this is
available for family.
we talked about
Nate,
the
go ahead, Jaquar.
generation gap, the generational gap or whatever, man. But this is the bridge right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the
This is the
bridge.
bridge right here, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
David, you got any last words for us?
Nah, man. I just want to, appreciate y'all for having me on, giving me a chance to speak my truth, and if anybody wants to share it or have, like I said, I put the information in the comments, or you can message me directly, to follow the journey. I'll be adding more onto it. I'll be doing I'll actually be starting. It's not a podcast, but like I call them like TED Talks. Like short conversations where I go into certain quotes and explain. Kind of like what I did on here, just kind of explaining things and just giving my truth, man. So that's what I meant earlier about the media aspect. And I said, man, just thank you to everybody that support, everybody that's continuing to support, the comments, the compliments, the messages, everything, man. I appreciate it all, and I'm gonna see it all the way through.
We definitely appreciate you. And then, at the end of this thing, like I said, this podcast is mainly for, it's not exclusively, but it's mainly for everyday people. Everyday
Mhm.
people do great things. So
Yeah.
what we try to do is spotlight. And also what we want to do is get to know and get to understand everyday people, the people you see every day, your family, your work people, everyone that you come across. Because, see, that's
Mhm.
what we try to do. We strive to go forward. Just to let you know
Right.
about the Strong Perspective podcast. That's what we do. You
Right.
understand? Now,
Mm-hmm.
the bottom line is, message me if you wanted to come on. We're reaching out to everyone. The young women, the
Okay.
women out there, the young ladies, the older ladies. We want you to come on, so we want to hear your view about things.
Right.
This is not an adversarial thing. This is about
Mm.
developing, reconstructing communication.
Mhm.
That's the best way I can put it.
No doubt.
Because everyone has an opinion, everyone has love about it. You understand?
Mhm.
Please,
Yep.
I'm talking to my Facebook friends, my 1,300 Facebook friends. All I need you to do, no more, no less, because this is not our goal, this is our first step. We want to reach 1,000 subscribers
Mhm.
on our YouTube channel. I
Right.
have 1,300. All you have to do is go on and click on subscribe.
Yep.
That's all. You don't have to do anything else. We invite you to listen to our content because I believe that you'll get something out of it. But just go click on it. Come see what we have. Okay? Because
No doubt.
what we have is something that's real. All right, well, look, this is what we're going to do. Thank you, David, for coming on. Thank you for the comments, guys. KJ, Cousin Lawrence, Hardaway Clothing, thank you. And Guinea, love you too, baby. You know what I'm saying? Guys, KJ, always a good brother. You're about your business. Dominique, sister-in-law, Aunt Robin, we naming you all. Thanks for commenting. We love y'all. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. We on our way out. Next Friday at 7:30, we're gonna be here again.
All right, now.
All right, guys.
Appreciate it.